Chris, you've described these wonderful pilgrimages, these weekends away, where you've gone off with young people that you've established relationships and nurtured relationships with for a facilitated weekend that is intentionally Christian and sharing the good news of Jesus Christ. What is the hope and aspiration, and what is the activity of beginning the turn and the transition back to home?
Yeah, because that's really important, you know, because if it's just going to be standalone, if these are just going to be mountaintop experiences, then we're failing these young people. So what we do, because as a church, St. Laurence is a church that we're all committed to having young people at our heart. And so people give their time and their prayers and their money for that. And so we're not a youth church at all. We're a multi-generational church which has this particular mission to young people. And so what we've done recently in the last 2 years is we've called the whole church up to come and join us on a Sunday morning. So there are children around, there are retired people around, there are families around, so everybody's around together in one place. And so we can start to make those connections, because for some of these young people, it's the first time they've been in the same place as some of these adults and some of these children. But what that enables us to do is enables those adults to see, and children to see and meet these young people, to play with them. So we play big games together, wide games, those kind of things. And also just to meet them in a time of worship, but also over a meal afterwards. And then we can say to these young people, look, you've been part of this. You've seen these, you've met these people. Come and be part of this. This is what we do. So then kicks in the other things we do. So we try and offer mentoring to every young person. So every young person who's been away with us then has a mentor. Now, mentoring is in some ways like a grand title for just, like I said, a healthy relationship with an adult. An adult who's going to be interested in them. So it doesn't need a huge amount of skill. It needs more dedication. That needs a regular, I'll see you every couple of weeks, and you can just tell me how you're doing. There's also be a small group. There'll be a small group for that young person to belong to, where they can come every week and they can enjoy hearing God's voice in Scripture. They can learn how to pray, because this stuff for us as a church is absolutely vital. When our first young person became a Christian, we didn't quite know what to do. We didn't know whether we should invite this young person into what we were doing, or whether we should change what we were doing. And then someone said to me, who was a key member of the church, he said, look, I know what happens. When a young person becomes a Christian, they know automatically how to pray and how to read their Bibles. And I realised how absolutely disastrous that idealistic notion was. It is a massive vocation on the church to teach young people how to pray, and to teach young people how to hear God's voice in Scripture, and to know how they need to live their lives for Jesus. And that's when the work starts, if you see what I mean. But that's the joy of church. I mean, if we're not about that, what are we about? This is what we are about as a church, to enable every member of this body who follows Jesus Christ to know what it means to follow him in their daily lives.